Well, when I was in grade school, we lived out in the country west of Fitzhugh. It's a little town near Ada. And my dad worked for the Chevrolet dealership in Ada, and every day he would stop and buy a copy of the Ada News to bring to my mother. And I was in about the 3rd grade, and I discovered that they had stories about the baseball games in the newspaper. So whenever my mother would be finishing supper, I would spread the paper out on the kitchen floor and read the baseball stories. And I realized, I was planning on playing probably 20 years for the Cardinals, but whenever I retired from the major leagues, newspapers was what I wanted to do. Several years later, when I was going to East Central and Ada, I worked part-time at the Ada News and ended up being the sports editor. And being a newspaper guy was really all that I ever wanted to do. To me, it was the only thing that had meaning. The Branch Davidians were a benign but bizarre religious group for 30 or 40 years in Waco. And a fellow named Vernon Howell got control of the group, changed his name to David Koresh. We had 2 reporters that did an investigative story about it, and they were finalists for the Pulitzer. And one of the reporters got a tip that they were going to try and do something at the compound. We didn't know what. So I was the city editor and picked the reporters and photographers that I wanted to cover the story, and we were out there Sunday, February 28th, about 9:30. And if we had not been there, the world perhaps would have never known all of the things that went on. I grew up in small town Oklahoma, and the 2 institutions that you were taught to believe in and put your trust in were law enforcement and your church. That was a case where a lot of bad things were done in the name of religion and in law enforcement. And it really took me personally quite a few years to sort out my feelings over that. Professionally, I think there were 2 people that really helped my career. Lee Porter was the publisher in Ardmore and hired me to be the managing editor there. It was the first real management job that I had. He was a great mentor. And for a few years, I worked for Cox's Internet division, and the president of that was a fellow from New Zealand named Peter Winter. And he gave me several opportunities to do things that I would not have otherwise, and really made a big difference in my career. In the past, I got to participate in projects that were finalists for the Pulitzer and received national attention. But the paper in Meeker has been by far the most rewarding and satisfying part of my career. And I'll go into people's houses and I'll see pictures or stories that they've clipped and got up on the refrigerator. And anytime you make it somebody's refrigerator, you're doing a good job.